This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
In the headlines, first, high-level talks between the United States and Iran have resumed at the Bergenstock Resort in Switzerland. The negotiations survived a brief suspension after an exchange of hardline warnings between President Donald Trump and Iranian delegates. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed that the IDF will continue operations in southern Lebanon as long as necessary. Netanyahu insisted the campaign will continue until border areas are fully secured. In Europe, thousands of pro-EU demonstrators marched through central London to mark 10 years since the Brexit referendum. Protesters called Brexit an economic disaster and demanded a roadmap for Britain's return to the European Union. Also in the United Kingdom, a major train collision in Bedford killed an East Midlands railway driver and injured about 100 passengers. The crash has caused widespread disruptions along key rail links between London and central England. Turning to South America, Colombian leftist candidate Ivan Cepeda have pledged to challenge the preliminary results of the presidential runoff election. Early tally showed Cepeda trailing Abelardo de la Espriella by a razor-thin margin. And in the Philippines, Vice President Sara Duterte visited Davao Occidental in Sarangani to check on families affected by the recent earthquake. Duterte oversaw the distribution of emergency assistance as relief operations continue across Mindanao. I'm Prince Tripoli. Newsline World starts now. For our first story, high-level diplomatic negotiations between the United States and Iran resumed under intense geopolitical strain at the Bergenstock Resort near Lake Lucerne, surviving a brief suspension triggered by an exchange of hardline ultimatums between Trump and Tehran delegates. Jane Kudnita for the details.
Efforts to transform the U.S.-Iran ceasefire into a lasting peace deal are facing immediate strain. Delegations from Washington and Tehran opened the Lake Lucerne Summit at Switzerland's Bergenstock Resort on Sunday, their first direct talks since signing a preliminary memorandum of understanding. Led by Vice President J.D. Vance and Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, negotiators are seeking to convert the fragile truce into a binding roadmap. But the opening session nearly collapsed less than 90 minutes in. Talks were suspended after U.S. President Donald Trump warned that Iran would face severe consequences if Hezbollah continued military operations in Lebanon. The warning drew a sharp rebuke from Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Ghalibaf, prompting a temporary walkout by Tehran's delegation. Despite the standoff and continued fighting in southern Lebanon, mediators from Pakistan and Qatar kept the process alive. A joint statement announced a 60-day roadmap establishing a high-level committee, a direct communication channel for the Strait of Hormuz, and a Lebanon deconfliction mechanism. Vance described Washington's position as an outstretched hand, but stressed that lasting normalization depends on Iran abandoning nuclear weapons ambitions and support for proxy forces. With Tehran pressing for sanctions relief, technical teams remain at Bergenstock as negotiators work to keep the fragile agreement intact. This has been Jane Kudnita, Global Citizen Correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed that Israel would continue its military operation in southern Lebanon as long as necessary. Carlo de la Peña tells us more.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke at the annual memorial for his brother Yoni in Jerusalem on Sunday, where he vowed that Israel would continue its military operation in southern Lebanon as long as necessary. The announcement arrives as the United States and Iran hold talks at the Swiss resort of Bergenstock, with Pakistan and Qatar acting as mediators. The interim peace agreement signed between the United States and Iran on June 19 calls for the cessation of military operations on all fronts, including Lebanon. However, on June 19, the Israel Defense Forces responded with more than 150 strikes in Lebanon. Netanyahu vowed not to allow Iran to arm itself with nuclear weapons. The Prime Minister called preventing a nuclear Iran his sacred purpose. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo de la Peña, SMNI News.
A devastating wave of Israeli airstrikes have killed dozens across southern Lebanon ahead of the US-Iran deal in Switzerland. The move prompted a dramatic breaking point during the Bergenstock talks. This report from Rahil Parba.
Heavy smoke blanketed southern Lebanon after a massive barrage of 70 air raids. Despite Friday's ceasefire announcement, the weekend violence claimed at least 38 lives. In Nabatiyeh, an Israeli airstrikes completely leveled a regional branch of Lebanon's central bank, while civil defense teams recovered 6 bodies from residential rubble. The deadliest single strike hit the town of Kinneret, killing 9 people and wounding over a dozen others, mostly women and children. The Israel Defense Forces stated that they targeted over 80 Hezbollah positions following projectile fire from the militant group. This violent escalation directly violates the Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding signed just days ago, which mandated an immediate end to hostilities on all fronts. While Israel maintains its forces will not retreat from southern Lebanon, the violence on the ground has been mirrored by extreme hostility at the negotiating table in Switzerland. The high-level peace talks between the United States and Iran have just concluded, yielding a surprise breakthrough but not without extreme diplomatic turbulence. The Iranian delegation staged a sudden walkout from the venue in furious protest of aggressive social media posts by U.S. President Donald Trump after he threatened to resume heavy military bombing against Iranian targets and permanently seize the Strait of Hormuz if a final deal is not made. This has been Rahil Parba, your global citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Thousands of pro-European demonstrators swarmed central London to mark the 10th anniversary of the Brexit referendum, branding the UK's departure an economic catastrophe and demanding an immediate political pathway to rejoin the bloc. Joy Tabanao has the news.
A sea of blue and yellow swept through central London as pro-European campaigners marked 10 years since the 2016 Brexit referendum. Around 1,500 demonstrators joined the 4th annual National Rejoin March, moving from Temple Station to Parliament Square while calling for closer ties with the European Union.
We're here today to protest against our government not taking seriously that the UK wants to rejoin the EU. If you look at the polling, over 50% of the UK wants to rejoin right now, and under 25s, over 80% want to rejoin, but the government just aren't listening.
The milestone anniversary marks a decade since Brexit, the shorthand term for the British exit from the European Union, was triggered by a closely fought national vote where 51.9% of the electorate opted to sever ties with Brussels, ending nearly 5 decades of economic integration and ending the automatic right to live and work across Europe. The rally featured prominent pro-EU voices, including former Labour leader Lord Neil Kinnock, who described Brexit as a major setback for Britain. Protesters carried placards targeting leading Leave campaigners, arguing that promises made during the referendum campaign failed to materialize. Many cited weaker economic growth, trade barriers, and the loss of freedom of movement as lasting consequences of Brexit. While the government remains reluctant to revisit EU membership, campaigners point to polling showing growing support for closer European integration. Organizers say they will continue pushing for a reset in Britain's relationship with Brussels. This has been Joy Tabanao, your global citizen correspondent reporting for Newsline World.
A major passenger train collision in Bedford has left 1 person dead and 99 others injured. Local authorities in eastern England confirmed Saturday that the crash has caused widespread transportation disruptions. Omar Puswell has the details.
Emergency rescue operations and formal safety investigations are underway following a severe rail disaster north of London. A collision of two passenger trains in Bedford of Eastern England has left one person dead and 99 others injured, local authorities said on Saturday. The physical accident continues to heavily disrupt rail services across the region. The collision occurred on Friday near Bedford when a Luton Airport Express service struck an East Midlands Railway train. Roads near the crash site remained completely closed as of Saturday while emergency investigations and technical recovery operations were underway. The ongoing closure of the main line has forced thousands of regional travelers onto emergency transit networks. Electronic information boards at Bedford railway station showed that no train services would operate between Bedford and London St. Pancras on Saturday and Sunday. Passengers were officially advised to continue their journeys using replacement bus services arranged by rail operators. As a key rail hub linking London with central and northern parts of Britain, Bedford Station handles heavy commuter and intercity traffic. The suspension of train services has forced many travelers to alter their plans, switch to buses, or seek alternative rail routes. The disruption indicates that the impact of the accident has extended well beyond the immediate crash site and is continuing to affect the normal operation of Britain's railway network. Reporter for Newsline World, Almar Forsualo, SMNI News.
Up next, turning to South America, Colombian leftist candidate Ivan Cepeda has pledged to challenge the preliminary results of the presidential runoff election. Early tally shows Cepeda trailing Abelardo de la Espriella by a razor-thin margin. And in the Philippines, Vice President Sara Duterte visited Davao Occidental in Sarangani to check on families affected by the recent earthquake. Duterte oversaw the distribution of emergency assistance as relief operations continue across Mindanao. More news when Newsline World returns.
Sa bawat araw, sa bawat sandali, kami ay SMNI.
Ang aming uniforme ay hindi lamang tela. Ito'y sagisag ng aming paninindigan.
Ipinagmamalaki natin ang ating bansa at ang ating pagiging Pilipino.
Pinagsama ng nagkakaisang layunin, ating isinusulong ang revolusyon sa media.
Ang templong tahanan ng Diyos at ang sinag, ang instrumento ng katotohanan, at liwanag na nagmumula sa iisang may likha.
Pula, ang pag-ibig na nananalaytay sa ating mga ugat. Ang dugo ng bawat bayaning Pilipino na nagbuwis buhay para sa ilang bayan.
Itim, ang kapangyarihan ng bansa at soberanya na tanging sa mamamayan lamang.
Ang bawat Pilipinong handang ipagtanggol ang kalayaan at katarungan.
Puti, ang kapayapaan at pag-asa. Taglay ang katapatan sa lupang sinilangan.
Kami ang SMNI. Salamat sa inyong walang sawang pagtitiwala at pagpanig sa katotohanan.
And we're back. Progressive presidential candidate Ivan Cepeda declared that the Colombian election remains far from over, vowing to dispute the rapid discount data after preliminary runoff ballots placed him in a razor-thin institutional margin behind far-right firebrand Abelardo de la Espriella. Paul Montibon has the details.
Colombia is facing a tense political standoff following one of the closest presidential runoff elections in its modern history. Speaking before supporters in Bogota, historic pact candidate Ivan Cepeda and running mate Aida Kelcue declined to concede defeat after preliminary results showed their coalition trailing by less than 1 percentage point. Cepeda announced plans to challenge the validity of thousands of polling stations before any official winner is declared. Election authorities reported an almost evenly divided electorate with nearly all polling stations counted. Defenders of the homeland candidate Abelardo de la Espriella held a narrow lead with 49.66% of the vote compared to Cepeda's 48.70%. The gap of roughly 250,000 votes is poised to become the tightest margin in a Colombian presidential runoff.
Es evidente que estamos hoy ante un país que ha sido contado en las urnas y que tiene una división por casi que exactas mitades del electorado. Así que nuestra invitación serena, reflexiva y racional al diálogo y a buscar un acuerdo nacional que nos permita resolver los grandes problemas estructurales e históricos de la sociedad colombiana.
Cepeda called for a calm while warning that the political left will remain a major force in Colombian politics, backed by outgoing President Gustavo Petro, who has also questioned portions of the preliminary count. Cepeda defended the administration's social and economic reforms and vowed to oppose any effort to roll them back. The result remains uncertified as election officials review contested ballots and procedural complaints, while several regional leaders have already congratulated De La Espriella. Colombia's next president may not be officially confirmed until electoral challenges are fully resolved. For God and my country, the Philippines, reporting for Newsline World, this has been Paul Montebon, SMNA News.
Bangladeshi Prime Minister Tariq Rahman is in Malaysia on his first overseas trip since taking office. The visit marks the start of a regional tour aimed at strengthening economic ties and attracting investment. Joy Tabanao will give us more details.
Bangladeshi Prime Minister Tariq Rahman was welcomed in Kuala Lumpur by Malaysia's Religious Affairs Ministry Zulkifli Hasan. Rahman walked along a red carpet alongside his wife, Zubaida Rahman, during an official welcome ceremony. The Bangladeshi Prime Minister is due to hold talks with Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim on Monday in Putrajaya. Discussions are expected to focus on trade, investment, labor recruitment, energy, semiconductors, and the economy. After concluding his visit to Malaysia, Rahman will depart for China on Tuesday for an official visit to Beijing at the invitation of Chinese Premier Li Qiang. This has been Joy Tabanao, your global citizen correspondent reporting for Newsline World.
Vice President Sara Duterte checked on the condition of families affected by the recent earthquake in Davao Occidental and Sarangani Province. Loren Santos has a story.
In the municipality of Jose Abad Santos, Davao Occidental, Vice President Sara Duterte visited the residents of Barangay Nuwing and extended assistance to the families affected by the earthquake. VP Sara also headed to the Sarangani Municipal Hospital in Mabila, Davao Occidental, where she checked on recovering patients and delivered a message of solidarity and support. From there, VP Sara traveled to the town of Glan in Sarangani Province to meet with families temporarily staying at the Glan Tent City evacuation site and to visit patients being treated at the Pemat Field Hospital. In her Facebook post, VP Sara urged the public to remain alert and prepared in the face of potential disasters and calamities. She also offered prayers for the safety and well-being of everyone affected by the earthquake. Duterte previously assured that the office of the Vice President would provide immediate assistance to the earthquake-stricken families. Reporting for Newsline World, Loren Santos, SMNI News.
One of the farmers of the 1987 Constitution has weighed in on why a fake supermajority is required by the Charter amid the looming impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. MJ Mondihar tells us more.
Can a senator vote in an impeachment trial if they are not inside the impeachment court? This has become a central debate ahead of upcoming impeachment trial of Philippine Vice President Sara Duterte on July 6th. Out of the 24 incumbent senators, 2 may be unable to participate once the Senate convenes as an impeachment court. These are Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, who is currently hiding due to an ICC warrant, and Senator Jingo Estrada, who is now serving a 90-day suspension over cases before the Sandigan Bayan. Under the 1987 Philippine Constitution, a 2/3 vote of all members of the Senate, or 16 votes, is required to convict an official in an impeachment trial. However, according to retired Supreme Court Associate Justice Antonio Carpio, the number of votes needed to convict Vice President Sara Duterte could drop to 15 or lower. Carpio claims it all depends on the number of senators legally qualified to vote. He explains that the 2/3 threshold should only be based on members who can lawfully perform their duties. Carpio argues that if any senators are under preventive suspension, have resigned, passed away, or are disqualified from voting, the total membership base used to compute the 2/3 threshold must decrease accordingly. But retired Supreme Court Associate Justice Adolfo Ascuna takes a completely different view. Ascuna maintains that 16 votes representing 2/3 of the entire 24-member Senate remain strictly required to secure a guilty verdict against VP Duterte. According to Ascuna, all members must be factored into the equation, even if they're abroad, sick, or detained, as long as they legally retain their Senate seats. According to him, they can only be excluded from the computation if they pass away, resign, or are completely removed from office. Ascuna further explained that there's no middle ground in this matter because every senator represents the Filipino people. According to him, excluding them from the computation is equivalent to removing the representation of their constituents. The former magistrate also emphasized that the Constitution sets a fixed supermajority vote requirement to ensure that the removal of the highest official of the country has broad support. According to him, a fluctuating vote threshold could be a source of manipulation. He added that the purpose of the Constitution is to protect the high officials of the country against easy removal by preventing any manipulation that could result in the non-participation of some senators in the process. Justice Ascuna is one of the appointed members of the 1986 Constitutional Commission that drafted and wrote the current Basic Law, or the 1987 Philippine Constitution. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been MJ Mondihar, SMNI News.
We're back. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has led the national observance of International Yoga Day from Kolkata. Addressing a massive gathering on Red Road, Modi highlighted the global reach of yoga, emphasizing its unique capacity to unite humanity and connect people across geographic boundaries through a shared commitment to wellness. Daniela Politi has a story.
A massive collective health demonstration has taken place in West Bengal, drawing tens of thousands of participants to the state capital. In Kolkata, the public event themed Yoga for Healthy Aging successfully brought together approximately 35,000 participants in Kolkata's historic Red Road. Modi highlighted the global reach of yoga, adding that it unites everyone and brings humanity together.
शारीरिक श्रम का साधन नहीं है, योग किसी एक आयु वर्ग के लिए सीमित भी नहीं है। भारत में हम जानते हैं और देखते आए हैं, योग मानव के जीवन का चेतना के साथ, ऊर्जा के साथ एक प्रकाश भी है। इसलिए इस वर्ष अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस की थीम रखी गई है, योगा फॉर हेल्दी एजिंग। उम्र बढ़ने पर भी हम स्वस्थ रह सकते हैं, हम ऊर्जावान और सक्रिय रह सकते हैं। योग हमें इसके लिए मार्ग दिखाता है।
Calling the exercise a light in human life and a union with consciousness and energy, he urged Indians to make it part of their daily lives.
अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवस के अवसर पर करोड़ों लोग योग से जुड़ते हैं, लेकिन आज का ये दिन हमें अपने साझा संकल्प को फिर दोहराने का अवसर देता है। आइए हम संकल्प लें, योग को केवल एक दिवस तक सीमित नहीं रखेंगे, योग को केवल एक कार्यक्रम तक सीमित नहीं रखेंगे। हम योग को अपने जीवन का हिस्सा बनाएंगे, अपने परिवार का हिस्सा बनाएंगे, अपनी आने वाली पीढ़ियों का हिस्सा बनाएंगे।
Modi's administration is pointing to large-scale digital engagement campaigns designed to expand the practice globally throughout the entire calendar year. He also pointed to the government's Yoga 365 initiative, saying millions of people from over 100 countries had taken part in a 100-day online program aimed at expanding participation in yoga globally. The Prime Minister contextualized the specific timing of the annual event, noting its alignment with significant seasonal astronomical milestone. The high-profile event concluded with Modi interacting with participants and observing the mass yoga session as celebrations continued across the venue. Reporting for Newsline World, Daniela Paulita, SMNI News.
In a monumental bridge between modern pop culture and classical heritage, BTS leader RM has officially been named the first ever global ambassador for the National Museum of Korea. Meanwhile, the television industry is mourning the loss of legendary director and Cheers co-creator James Jimmy Burrows. Passed away at the age of 85 after directing over 1,000 episodes of iconic sitcoms like Friends and Will and Grace. Here's Diane Hortaleza for the showbiz.
BTS leader RM is the official face of the National Museum of Korea. In recognition of his deep passion for traditional Korean culture and his contributions to preserving the country's heritage. RM's appointment is backed by his years of advocacy and substantial financial support, including donating 200 million won to fund the preservation and restoration of overseas Korean cultural heritage properties. As a renowned art collector who frequently shares his passion with millions of fans, RM will mark another major milestone this October by holding a special exhibition of his personal collection at the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. As the museum's inaugural global ambassador, RM will spearhead various promotional initiatives designed to introduce international audiences to the rich tapestry of Korean history, traditional culture, and artistic legacy. Meanwhile, in a career spanning more than 50 years, James Jimmy Burrows became a titan of Hollywood comedy, earning an astounding 48 Primetime Emmy nominations, winning 11 Emmys, and taking home 5 Directors Guild of America DJA Awards. Born in Los Angeles in 1940, Burrows spent much of his childhood in New York before attending the graduate program at the Yale School of Drama, where he first discovered his passion for directing. After years of honing his craft, Burrows achieved a major career milestone by co-creating the iconic sitcom Cheers, which became a massive 1980s television hit in both the US and the UK. Following the news of his passing, the cast of Friends, including Jennifer Aniston, Matt LeBlanc, David Schwimmer, and Courtney Cox, as well as sitcom stars Eric McCormack and Lisa Kudrow, took to social media to share emotional tributes, fond memories, and gratitude for the veteran director. The Directors Guild of America, which honored Burroughs with a Lifetime Achievement Award in television direction in 2015, remembered him as an incredibly generous colleague who readily shared his wisdom and warm humor with his fellow Guild members and all he worked with. This has been Diane Hortaleza, your Global Citizen correspondent, bringing you the latest show buzz.
In latest sports updates, fresh off a breakthrough run in Berlin, Alex Ayala is set for a historic partnership as she joins forces with tennis icon Venus Williams at the Bad Homburg Open. Meanwhile, Germany secured a place in the World Cup knockout stage after staging a dramatic comeback victory over Ivory Coast, while Curaçao made history with its first ever World Cup point. Carlo La Peña for the updates.
Alex Ayala will continue her grass court campaign in Germany alongside seven-time Grand Slam champion Venus Williams in the doubles draw of the WTA 500 Bad Homburg Open. The highly anticipated pairing will face a qualifier team in the opening round after changes to draw gave the Filipino-American tandem additional time to prepare for their debut together. Ayala enters the tournament riding the momentum of a memorable run at the Berlin Open, where she reached the semifinals and secured victories over several top-ranked opponents, including former Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina and Elina Svitolina. In singles competition, Ayala will take on Elise Mertens in a rematch of their Madrid Open meeting earlier this season. The Filipina star expressed excitement about sharing the court with Williams, whom she described as a trailblazer and one of the most influential figures in women's tennis. Bad Homburg serves as Ayala's final tune-up before Wimbledon, where she is expected to become the first Filipino player to compete as a seeded participant in the prestigious Grand Slam tournament. Meanwhile, Germany booked its spot in the last 32 with a thrilling 2-1 win over Ivory Coast in Toronto. Substitute Denis Undav emerged as a hero for Germany, scoring the equalizer in the 68th minute before netting the winner deep into stoppage time to complete the comeback. The victory sends Germany into the knockout rounds for the first time since the 2014 tournament, ending a run of group stage exits in 2018 and 2022. Elsewhere, Curaçao earned a historic first World Cup point after holding Ecuador to a scoreless draw in Kansas City. Goalkeeper Eloy Room produced a remarkable performance, marking a record 15 saves to preserve the result. In Houston, the Netherlands strengthened their hopes of advancing with a commanding 5-1 victory over Sweden. Brian Brobby scored twice in the opening 17 minutes, while Cody Gakpo added a second-half brace as the Dutch overwhelmed Sweden. Germany moved into the knockout phase with a dramatic win. Curaçao celebrated the landmark achievement on the world stage, and the Netherlands took a major step toward qualification with an emphatic victory. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo de la Peña bringing you the latest sports news.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the song. Do what is right. Defend what is right. Die for what is right. And that's all for this edition of Newsline World. For God in my beloved country, the Philippines, I'm Prince Tripoli. Thank you for watching and goodbye.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.